Hey everybody, Shiny Sephiroth here. Welcome back to the Retroverse Nexus. First of all, I'd like to share this with you all. In the last video that we looked at, the black and white editions, I showed you that I did not get this when I was visiting Toys from the Past over in Iowa. And that was heart-wrenching. I luckily was able to get it for $5 under MSRP. About a week ago it came in as of a recording of this video. But, so yeah, there is a happily ever after. I did end up getting it. But that is not what we are here to record today. Today I'm going to be going over another set of black and white figures right now. So here we go. We have the sketch edition of the Page Punchers line for the Ghosts of Krypton wave. This is a really cool line. I really enjoyed the Ghosts of Krypton normal wave, wherein we had these figures, which was the as of the New 52, the Earth 2 Superman Val-Zod. Then we have normal Superman Clark Kent Kal-El. Then we also have the Ghost of Zod. And we have Brainiac. That was the initial wave. And they also had a platinum version of Brainiac and Val-Zod. The normal version of Brainiac was actually Brainiac in this skeletal suit. And if I recall correctly, and right around here somewhere on the screen will be a picture, probably right here, will be a picture of the two different versions. I appreciate the sketch edition. I think it's really cool looking. It's not quite like the line art versions that we get from like Jim Lee back in the New 52 when the Trinity was released. But this is, it's a different look to it, and I like it. We have had a few Page Punchers get this treatment in the past. We've gotten the first ones were the Batman and Black Adam from that wave. And I believe as of June 13th, 2024, this along with the White Knight Batman. Oh, actually, no, I am missing one. The Azrael from White Knight. That is another one that I do not have right now. I have not been able to secure that yet. So, but those should be all of the sketch editions that have been released as of June 13th, 2024. So I will go ahead and open these up and then show them to you individually. Oh, I did not expect that. Wow. Okay. So just this is a cloth cape. Very interesting. Oh, wow. So you get like a really white cloth cape. Just my initial thought is this is going to be potentially a lot of maintenance to make sure it doesn't yellow over the years. I have to figure out what to do with that. But the concept in and of itself, I mean, look how white that thing is. That is pretty cool. All right. Well, let's see if there's any more surprises as I open these up. Oh, wow. You got a black cape. I haven't read the comic yet, so, that is pretty neat. I really like that look. The white suit on the black cape, that is really cool. I am really liking this line so far. That is pretty neat. Okay, 10 out of 10 so far, Todd. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, I thought it was going to be one comic for the black and white edition, and that is not the case. It looks like it is all four versions of the comic, but black and white form. So all four covers. That is super neat. Wow. All right, that is cool. Let's go ahead and look at those covers really quick. Oh, yeah. All right. So here's the first one. It really reminds me a lot of the New 52 suit. So this is really cool for me because it's as if we can get the traditional like pre-Flashpoint Superman head on the New 52 suit. I think it's a really cool little difference there. All right. Then we got Zod's Ghost. So that's a pretty cool cover. Then we have Val Zod, who is, if I recall correctly, he's a descendant or relative of General Zod. So we got that right there. And then we have the armored, I believe this is the armored look. Yeah, it is. So that's what we get for the black and white cover. And yeah, that is really, really neat that this set comes with all 4 covers. So that's a really, really cool thing. I was under the impression that it was only going to be one of the suits because of how the card was handled, and I'll show you that right now. All right, so here is the card, and it's just the cover of number 1. They even kept the numbering here, 104. I would have preferred it if we got all 4 cards, but it is what it is. This is limited edition. It says on the back, "This certifies that the limited edition worldwide product, Superman, Earth 2 Superman, Ghost of Zod, and Brainiac figures are authentic and officially licensed by McFarlane Toys. The figurines were created, developed, and designed by Todd McFarlane and his award-winning design group. All figures are individually hand-painted and sequentially numbered." What? This was hand-painted? Every single one of them? Okay, there's going to be some math here on the screen right over here. So I got 1562 out of 4350. So that's 4,350 figures times 4. Right, I'm that. Okay, so that's like, if I did right, that's 1,700, right? Yeah, I think it's 1,700 figures that they hand, 17,000. 17,000 figures they hand-painted. I want to know what their definition of hand-painting is, because if it is what I think it is, well, that is really cool that they do these for this line. Anyway, not a big fan of the base. I don't really, because I put these in a card collector binder that I had. So not too sure what I do with these. Maybe I'll use these to hold up the Joker cards, so I can have one for each Joker card if they ever finish the Jokerized line. I hope they do. But okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the figure itself. Alright, before we dive into the figure, let's go ahead and look at the box. First of all, I got this here. We got right here the art for each of the comics. This is going to be a really cool display piece. I'm really excited to have it here. Let's go ahead and look at these toys. So we'll do the first one that I haven't shown you yet. So we have Brainiac right here, looking really awesome. So you got you got this arm right here that's got like a hook on it, and the articulation is pretty neat. If you see here, it's one of those ball joints. Let me go ahead and switch to my other camera view. That's better. I didn't realize I was stuck in selfie view. So unfortunately I don't have my tripod on me. I forgot it in the actual Retroverse Nexus room. So I'm hand doing this, so I'm going to be able to have one hand as I'm recording. Doing this on my lunch break, so don't have time to rush back to the room. Oh. So we got this over here. Got that standard ball joint, that half of it is on the arm, the other half is on the appendage that is being used, so it causes the rotation to work like that. The scythe itself is static, it doesn't move. We got this arm up here that also has that, So you have to be very careful. And you have to see where the line is. Right here is the line, if you can tell, of where the articulation can be. If you try to, and I've already played with it for a second. If you try, you have to be very careful to move the arm along that line. If you don't, you're gonna snap the arm off. So it's not too big of a deal. You just have to be careful. I actually lost this in the sauce. He's got a little arm. That's his strong hand. What the frick?
Help! Yeah. Oh, take my hand.
But, at the same time, I think that is a really cool detail because he is Brainiac. He is not a guy who is beefy and strong as he's shown in some iterations. This iteration of Brainiac shows that he is all cerebral. He's got a really weak body, and he's got all this gear around him to make up for that. He's got a claw hand here that works. This one looks like it's just on a ball joint, so you can move this around willy-nilly. There's no line for you to be able to show where you move it. This one here goes back to the other principle that we showed. So you got, this is really cool articulation. You got this joint right here, and it looks like you got a further joint here at the a second joint, here at the elbow that you can move as well. So it's basically a double jointed elbow. It is really long compared to his other arm, but that is because this is a cybernetic arm. I have not read the comic yet, so I don't know if his arm is inside of this, like it's a teeth on top of it, like a metal sleeve, or if something's happened and he had to replace his arm with this. So I'm actually really excited to read this comic. I just don't have time right now, but I'm very excited to read it. It looks really cool. Then you got these tendrils coming out, and it moves just up and down. Twisted around. Really cool looking. Overall, I'm a sucker for these things. I think this looks fantastic. The black and white on it is so cool. Here's the highlight on here, the shading, I guess it is. Overall, I really love this character, this sculpt, this design, the way they did the black splotches here. I think it's super cool, and I'm excited to add him to the villain section of my work office display, and I'm going to need to get a bigger desk. And just to let you guys know, just to show you how much space this is starting to take up, this is a wooden desk that is fairly large. It used to belong to the chief of police for one of the big cities in my state. Their police department was doing a massive get rid of everything sale because they were upgrading to new equipment and new office stuff. And I got the chief of police's desk for $25. So this was a major steal. For me, it's just being frugal, but the kids nowadays, they call it thrifting. So that's a really good thrift deal there. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next figure in this wave. They call him Ghost Zod, but he looks more like a zombie to me. Just from inferences, I'm going to guess out of the gate that there's some weird thing in the Phantom Zone wherein you really can't die in the Phantom Zone. So maybe they call him a ghost because he's a ghost of his former self. Or I don't know, maybe he is a legitimate ghost in the story. I don't know yet. The fact that the normal release of this toy is a glow-in-the-dark figure actually does get me leaning toward this being a legitimate ghost. Why he looks skeletal and zombified, I don't know. Maybe just artistic preference. And you know what? That works. That's really cool. I think, once again, I think the design, the sculpt is really cool. He's got these I don't know if it's the remnants of his armor or if it's bandages. I can only imagine that living in the Phantom Zone for what might seem like eons. I think time progresses differently there as well. I can only imagine what that does to you. You can see here he has broken armor, so the battles and all the things he had to endure while living in the Phantom Zone was probably extraneous, to say the least. I'm guessing that he had more armor on him before, and it was also partly chunked off. The regular release of the Ghosts of Krypton Superman, as well as the Platinum Earth 2 Superman, has them come with Kryptonian armor, and I'm guessing that that's an inference to me, actually, that they probably venture into the Phantom Zone, and once they do, they don't have access to their powers from the yellow sun, and so they have to have that armor to help them survive. And maybe as a bit of generosity, they give prisoners in this version. I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be a canon to the mainstream comics, so maybe they, in this version of the lore, they give people armor to venture into the Phantom Zone. Anyway, I just think this is really cool. It's got like this loincloth here that wraps around, and we got remnants of his armor, and this is all made black. You got some knee pads here. They got spikes coming out on this one. This one doesn't have spikes on it, so you can infer that through wear and tear he lost those spikes. And just look at that head sculpt. That is peak awesomeness. You know, in another display, I would be able to easily fit him into like a zombies display, like DC versus zombies, or no, what is it called? A deceased. Yeah, that's what they'd call it in DC. So, but overall, yeah, this is a really, really cool figure. Next up, I am still just over the moon with how this turned out. If you look here at the cloth, you can see it's perforated. Yeah, so he's got this new 52-esque armored suit. He's got the Superman, or the House of L symbol here. And I want to say this, I think, if my memory serves correctly, this is the S that he used in the New 52 comics. And honestly, you know, DC messes with me sometimes when it comes to how their multiverse works. Because with Doomsday Clock and everything, they showed how hypertime is now working. There could be various versions of the New 52 Earth 2, which I think is a really cool concept. So I haven't read the comic, like I said, so either this is the Earth 2 Val-Zod, or it is a different universe, like multiverse, hypertime version of Val-Zod. So it could be a different branch off in the timeline of Val-Zod, or it is just a different physical manifest, like there's hypertime and then there's the multiverse. So this is either a different timeline version of Earth 2 Val-Zod, or it is a different branch of the multiverse version of Earth 2 Val-Zod. And so it's that bubble of multiverses Earth 2, if that makes sense. New 52, Earth 2. Oh, it's so confusing, and I love it. I love it. Anyway, I think this is the House of L's symbol that he had. He is a member of the House of Zod, but you can see that he has forsaken that heritage, and he has now been adopted into the House of L. But him having to face the ghost of General Zod, I'm foreseeing that this 4-part comic is going to have some really cool coming to grips with your past, and knowing that you are not your blood, you are who you choose to be. I don't know if it's just my version, but that it looks like there's let me go ahead and block that. Looks like there's some damage to his head there. It's more noticeable on camera than it is in person, so I might not fix that. He's got a really cool haircut there. Really nothing too much to report outside of the musings of the story. I'm not a huge fan of these hands look kind of funky, to be honest, and kind of big for his frame. And because of the white, the first thing that comes to my mind is like Mickey Mouse gloves. They have threatened, the rumblings have been, one day Disney will finish the monopoly and it will take up DC Comics. So maybe this is a hint toward that. I would do a Mickey Mouse voice, but I'm recovering from some seasonal allergy stuff and my throat's all jacked up. That's why I sounded a little nasally at the beginning of this video. And even when I just said the word nasally, and there's a little bit of raspiness to my throat. So, yeah, but overall, this is pretty cool. I think the cape makes it, though. The cape just makes it super awesome. And then we'll end with Kal-El. He's got more of a traditional S on there. You can see the little black mark for the accent on that person's handwriting. Got some black splotches here, but he's got the black cape. That is so cool. And sorry, my work office, I work from home, so I have a work office in my backyard. And hearing some neighbor kids playing in their backyard, and they're being a little loud. But I mean, I got a good view though, and it's really nice to be able to have the window and the doors open and just take in that summer air. So wouldn't trade it for the world. This is actually way bigger than my work office was before when I was working at my hospital. So I would not trade this for anything. But yeah, he's got a nice grizzled look on this face. I really like the highlighting or the shading on the hair. I think that's really cool. And yeah, and he's got this armored suit. I think it's like I said, it reminds me of the New 52 Superman suit, but armored. Overall, yeah, that black cape is just so cool. All right, so let me go ahead and add these two to the display. Here is how it's looking right now. I am very happy with how the display is setting up. I think it's really cool. We see right here, we got our new sketch Superman. Always looks different on camera than when I set it up. There you go. And I think they look fantastic. Really adds some pop to the rest of the black and white Superman that I have here. This is still my favorite one, the New 52 Jim Lee Superman. The Rebirth one is pretty close up there. I really like the marble-esque, I know that's the wrong word, but like the statuesque look of the gray Superman right here. I really like the red pop, especially the eyes of this page puncher accent Superman. And then you have these two new sketch Supermen here. I think they look fantastic. I'm very excited and very happy to have them in the display. I think they really add some character to it. For those of you who might remember, these two Supermen used to be flying, but with how big this is getting, they were going to be blocking everybody behind them. So they're now down on the ground, and I'll be able to reuse those flight stands for something in my Retroverse display case. And then right here, we can see that I added in Ghost of Zod behind his Rebirth Zod Platinum counterpart. And I made it so that they're in the same pose, more or less. So it's kind of like this illusion of progression of what he is now and what he will become. And I made sure to, and he's actually, if you look right here, he's touching Val Zod. So it kind of shows that they're connected and that they're right next to each other. And then right behind them is the Brainiac. I made sure to try and pose all of his arms in a way that they're all showing up, even his little dinky strong arm right there. Yeah, I think he looks fantastic. Also, when I was posing him, I realized how, first of all, that he has another pivot joint on his wrist, so he can move his hand around. I think that is really cool. And also right here, his pelvic area down, it reminded me a lot of the Tri-Sentinel Build-A-Figure from Hasbro's Marvel Legends line, for those of you who have that. But also, I neglected to talk about how cool the shading or the sketch blotching, the shading is on the hexagons on his head. Those are hexagons, right? Yeah, they are. So I thought those were really cool. Overall, very, very happy with how this turned out. And I'm very excited to have this collection continue to grow as long as McFarlane will keep growing it. So the next video for additions for this collection will be that White Knight Batman, and then after that I will work on acquiring the White Knight Azrael to complete the collection. So there you have it. I know this isn't the Retroverse Nexus, but still part of my toy collection. I wanted to share it with you all. I really love it. It's one of my favorite things I have in my work office. Black and white theme is something I really like. I have a lot of black and white stuff in my office. I mean, this is even my tissue holder. My wife found a black and white box, and so she bought it and said, "Hey, this is your permanent tissue holder." So that's really cool. So whenever I have meetings in here or guests coming in, they can use the black and white tissue holder. I mean, I really think it's cool. I also have some other stuff in my backyard that surrounds the office that we're building, making it black and white. And I mean, the office itself is black and white. So there's that. Here's, let me go ahead and close this door. So my wife and I went and painted this and built it up. So yeah, really fun having that. So it really ties into the theme that's going on here. And yeah, right there, there's we haven't finished painting it yet, but there's behind me looks the exact same, but it's my fitness studio. Got a gym in there and whatnot. So yeah, oh, and as you can tell, we haven't put up the crown molding yet. It's been 4 years. Anyway, thank you all so much for stopping by here and being a part of the Retroverse Nexus. Really appreciate your patronage and how fast the channel's growing. Please let me know if you collect these in your collection, or if you maybe are thinking about starting to collect these. And yeah, good luck in all your hunts, good luck in your collections, unit displays, and I'll see you in the next video.